to infinity and beyond.
Everyone, it's Roger and James here from the DisKingdom Gaming Podcast. In this episode, we are going to be talking about loot boxes again. It's the kind of the constant theme that keeps coming around. Listening to quite a few different podcasts, and everyone's the topic just keeps rolling along. In the past week, obviously, there was a lot of criticism for Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot boxes. They have then since come out with kind of like a response to the beta and saying that they're going to be doing lots of changes. They're going to be there's going to be a whole host of things happening with that game. There's going to be special emotes, and basically the beta does not represent the full game, which is exactly what you said last week. And they're going to backtrack and try to make it look like they've not done as bad. I think it was the ERSB have come out and said that loot boxes are not gambling. And a lot of people took umbrage to that because there's a lot of people with addiction and other bits and pieces sort of saying, well, it gives off they've had doctors, I read articles where doctors say that, the surprise element releases like endorphins, which encourages more use, which you get more from buying a loot box where you get a costume than if you just buy a costume outright. Lots of people going on around that. There's been a lot of people putting in requests that warnings start going on games with loot boxes. There's a whole subject, and obviously, unfortunately, Star Wars Battlefront and Shadow of Mordor are pretty much the poster child of this loot box system right now because they're the newest ones. They've got the more aggressive boxes. And unfortunately, sometimes I'm like, man, Star Wars Battlefront has really become the kicker for this. So many other games do this. Call of Duty are going to be doing it. We play Marvel Heroes, which have it. Overwatch does it. Disney Magic Kingdoms is probably one of the worst ones I have. That actually is constantly on that you need to buy these chests, and I will not buy them anymore. But are they gambling?
Well, first to address one thing, which is, when we're talking about loot boxes, there's a couple different stages of them, and I think it's not that Battlefront includes loot boxes, it's that progression in Battlefront is tied very closely to loot boxes. At least that's what I've been reading. You bring up the Marvel Heroes, if you get the loot crates, all you're getting is cosmetic stuff or experience point boost, stuff like that. You're not getting anything that makes your game better than my game.
Yeah.
Same with Disney Magic Kingdoms. You get access to characters that were from previous events. Someone's kind of a little more slippery.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity to get those characters through non-loot crate methods, and they've even released a couple of them, or they made some half-hearted efforts. You can get some of the Incredibles if you do this quick mini event, and then they haven't done it since.
Yeah.
Battlefront, on the other hand, at least going by the beta, was if you don't get the star cards that you need through the loot crate, you're screwed. You could be going up against a Boba Fett who is objectively better than you simply because he had better luck than you or he dropped money.
Yeah.
But going back to the original question, is this gambling? By the definition of gambling, it is, in my opinion, because the first definition going by the dictionary is play games of money or play games of chance for money. This is not in that case, unless you're at the esports level. But the second definition is take risky action in the hope of a desired result. And to me, a lot of what's going on in this does follow that. Now, that's the dictionary definition. In my opinion, this is not quite gambling. Not yet, anyway. And the reasoning behind that for me is that when I think of gambling, there's always a chance of not getting anything at all. So if you go to the store and you pick up a lottery card, one of the scratch-offs, or you get a lottery ticket, you go to the Las Vegas and you bet on some sports games, there is a good chance that the money that you put into it will not result in you getting anything at all. $0 back. Thus far with loot crates, regardless of if they're tied to progression or not, we have not had a game, or at least not a major game, there might be some small games somewhere that have it, that you will get something. It might not be what you wanted. In fact, it probably won't be what you wanted.
Especially
but you will get
a bench in Disney Magic Kingdom.
Or a fire hydrant. Yeah. Why do I want a fire hydrant?
But anyway, it's actually that was the key point I was going to bring up was The fact that there is a chat, they are not doing empty boxes. You get nothing in there. So whether or not that is where they've kind of gone, well, you're buying a box, but you're still getting something. So therefore, it's not gambling because you are getting something. I think like Marvel Heroes Omega have a system where usually everything that you get, you can trade in for like a special currency that you only get through them, so you can buy the products. Because I know, for example, like on the kind of Funny Games Daily show, Game Over Greggy, he was buying Loot Crate after Loot Crate to try and get the Spider-Gwen box, but actually he brought that many boxes. He had enough essence to actually buy them way before, but he didn't understand that part of it. But there is that thing of you usually get something. But there again, on some of the like say for example, Marvel Contest of Champions, you do the thing for the shard or whatever it is. You get a duplicate champion. You can use that usually to boost up your champion you've already got. So they've kind of gone down that line, but it's like there's still that element of gambling. There's an unknown risk. There is, and that is where it comes in. And people spend too much on them, so people get a bit carried away on them. For me, I am not a gambler. All right, I am not someone. I've done the lottery a few times. I don't have that kind of personality because I worry more about the what I lose than what I gain. I am a person that went to Las Vegas for a weekend. I paid $1 into a coin machine, got $1.05 out and cashed out. That was my entire Vegas spending. The only time I did a little bit was in a casino in Winnemucca because it was freezing outside and we got free Coca-Cola while we were betting. It's literally, I am a person that, went to Vegas and didn't really even gamble. So it doesn't do it. But I also know people that have got into some serious, serious trouble with gambling. I mean, seriously bad issues where it has caused major problems for them. And I know a few people that have had that. So it's a very much, this might at the moment might not seem bad, but when kids, we're just waiting for these stories to start rolling about people that have got, and the major outlets start picking up on, I've spent £4,000 or $5,000 on Overwatch loot boxes and I've got evicted from my house, or I lost my wife, or I lost my job. These stories are going to start lining up in the future if they do not get the house in order now, because that could kill that whole industry.
It flat out can. And there's two other aspects to this, of course. You remember that game Candy Crush, still going strong.
Yeah.
And Angry Birds, Flappy Birds, all that stuff. Those weren't loot crates, but we still had reports at the time, back when those games were huge, of kids racking up multiple $100s, multiple £100 because they had no concept that they were spending actual money.
My friends, their daughter had over £1,000 worth of iTunes purchases on a game. They managed to get it all refunded, and I was on at them going, you really shouldn't just hand someone a kid. But nevertheless, I know someone personally that happened to, where the kid racked up that much debt on a video game because it's hidden behind gold coins and gems, and it's predatory. They're hiding it. I mean, a lot of games now have gone into, this costs real money. It is, even like Disney Magic Kingdoms, like using gems and things, it's because they're trying to hide that it's costing, real money. That's why I like when the packs come up and say $4.99 you get this, this, and this.
Right.
But it's predatory, and it feeds into this thing of trying to hide what you're doing. And these loot boxes, we're very much in the zone at the minute where I think they're in a feeding out process to work out what happens, what isn't working. It's bringing in a lot of money. So people have been saying, if you don't like it, avoid it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Personally, for me, and this is the main thing I've heard quite a few people say, I want to play Star Wars Battlefront. I do not agree with the system, but I want to play it, so I'm going to play Battlefront. The best way of me saying to them I do not want them is to not buy loot boxes, not to spend any money on those boxes at all. Not buying the games doesn't send the message to them. I mean, I still want to play the single player and all the rest of it. What's going to get people is when they realise that there's a large population that will not buy these loot boxes.
Well, but here's the problem, and this is really the core of the issue. Loot boxes aren't, the paid loot boxes aren't really meant for the general population. Loot boxes, just like free-to-play games with their purchases, are designed for the whales. Maybe a couple dolphins, but mostly the whales. So you end up with a situation where only 3% of the active gaming population is actually spending for it, but they're spending so much, literally thousands of dollars, that it subsidizes the cost for the rest of us. Is that the way it should be? No, it really shouldn't. I would prefer a system where they do smaller transactions or whatever that encourage, not loot boxes, straight purchase. You want to buy this cosmetic skin for Han Solo that makes it look like he's from The Force Awakens instead of from Empire Strikes Back. $3, flat fee, awesome. I'm down with that. I would even consider it, like if it was a skin that I wanted. I paid for skins in Marvel Heroes back when you could buy the skins directly. But as we saw from that game, the developers came out and said, no, as logical as that might sound, we make far more money putting these in loot boxes and advertising them to whales rather than letting just regular players who might occasionally throw $5 or $10 at a game buy them directly. And that, in and of itself, Marvel Heroes Gazillion coming out and saying that really is this is how developers and publishers are going. Most people aren't going to buy them, but everyone else who is buying them are making up for it. So
I think we're on that. Like I say, we're in this zone at the minute where a lot of gamers are going, no, I don't like this where this is going. You don't want to be playing Super Mario and suddenly it's like, do you want a mushroom of fire things? But you're gonna have to do the lucky. You're gonna have to hit that brick, but you're gonna have to pay to hit the brick. That's what it is. Like, there's that line, and I think players are and companies as well. Companies are gonna go, can we get away with it? No, we can't. Or is that gonna work? They will. EA went down the season pass route. They went way over the price with the game for the last year's one. Backfired. They're trying a different strategy now. Who knows?
And it's backfiring too.
It's backfiring. So just put the price up to £80 and give us a game that's the full game. That's what I think eventually we're going to get down to the point of like, you all moan about what you want the price like you did in the old days, where we're going to have to charge you for it. But I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts on are loot boxes gambling? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments, or get in touch with us, or joining our Facebook group, DisKingdom Gaming. As per usual, guys, you can like, follow, and subscribe on whichever video platform you're watching on, and whichever audio platform you're listening. And if you are listening, give us a review there on iTunes. That would be a really big help to sort of boost us up there. James, where can they find you?
You can find me heroiclegacy.com.
And on that note, guys, so thank you very much for watching. See you guys soon. Later.
But I'll be playing Shadow of War. So.
Yeah, WWE.